it's all right because this is going on over the next few weekends anyway, isn't it?
Next
So
9,
there's plenty
yes.
of opportunity.
Yeah, next 9 weekends now. Martin's gratefully give us that. He obviously knew with the charity work we were doing. So the next and there's a new boss in the pub as well. So it's all sort of coincides with that stuff as well. Terry's in there, so it all coincides with that.
Yeah, so we've got next weekend, Dusty Plankton on Friday night, Voodoo Bandits on Saturday night. Following weekend, 17th and 18th, is Eugene Wilson, and then Chris is back for that, and Chris Sterio is back for that one as well. Saturday night is Switch, next Saturday, the 18th. Then the following weekend, 24th and 25th, we will remind you of this, people, don't worry. Sunset Jet, and then Final Cut on the Saturday. And then, ending July and starting August, on Friday the 31st is Bisky Brish, who you heard just a few minutes ago, and on Saturday the 1st of August is DJ Paddy Rantin. I don't know DJ Paddy Rantin. That's exciting.
Good friend of Jippo's.
Oh, well.
Jippo, highly recommended from Jippo. A lot of two-tone, a lot of ska from my old town of Coventry. So really looking forward to that one.
Oh, well, that sounds like it's going to be a marvellous night. And Ewan Molyneux as well on Saturday the 1st. So don't you worry, we will keep you posted with all of this. But we have been chatting with Chris Sterio. He is in the studio as well. One of the many Chris's in the studio this evening.
Corner of the market here.
However, Chris Carr is still outnumbered because we're two Jenna Chris's.
Yeah, that's it.
So,
and I think we both went to the same primary school.
We did,
Arbery, so.
Yeah, so we've got all of that going for us, you see.
Exactly.
We're
ganging up on her now.
Yeah, we are a little bit above you there. I'm just saying, Chris Carr.
And, we can get the ginger rage.
We're all from the south, though,
so
it's okay.
No,
it's all right.
Chris lives in Colby. He's a southerner.
We'll let him be. We'll let him be. But we're talking a little bit as well about mental health, Chris. And I know that in your day job, you are very much involved with this with regards to youth, aren't you?
Yeah, well, I work in Castle Rushen as an ESO support worker. So one of my targets from the areas I'm looking at is mental health within kids. And during the lockdown, I did quite a few courses to do with mental health and well-being. And it's something that's really, I'm passionate about is, young people's well-being and can we develop a next generation of people who can sort of deal with stress well, or can we support them and help them become real, positive adults, and hopefully you can try and stop at source some of the problems we see later on. And obviously recently there's been some really sad news, and it's really hard to sort of tell sometimes when people are struggling. I think it's just a case of everybody trying to be nice to each other and showing some compassion. And through COVID, people have been through things which you don't quite understand, and how can we as a community be really good? And I know living down in Colby, I was going for walks sometimes during the lockdown, and you bump into people and everybody was really positive and saying hello, and everybody realised that, we're going through something quite possibly traumatic, and can we be a good community? And it's really difficult, and it's just a case of looking out for each other. We're in tough times, there's lots of things going on like social media, and there's so much expectation on young people. So if we can sort of just work together and try and help each other, I think that's a really positive thing to do. So.
And with the young people that you work with, how aware are they that they are sort of wrapped in this completely different environment to what we had when we grew up, and it is much trickier for them to navigate?
I think it's hard for them. I think, even as adults, we're tied into some of this, and we don't quite realise why we're doing things or why things are happening. And obviously there's families are a bit more spread out these days. There's more kind of dysfunction like that. So it's difficult, and people don't quite realise, why things are happening to them. And I've put something together where it's a little acronym taking into account like meditation and exercise and diet and sleep, that if you could get that formula right, you can really help yourself. So I've done a couple of presentations at school last week with a couple of form tutor groups to try and talk about that. So when you sort of face stress, can we make a choice to try and look at things like meditation, exercise, diet and sleep and get that right and sort of connect with nature? Obviously it's good to have a sort of connection of friends and a group of friends who can help you, and that's important, and family's important, and having gratitude for what we've got, because we're so lucky on the island to have what we've got. But having this sort of formula we can put together, so if you're feeling a bit stressed, go for a walk or do some exercise or meditation or even music, get your diet right, trying sleep patterns and things like that.
Yeah, so, and it's a great acronym, MEDS.
MEDS, yeah.
Brilliant. Or if you get nature in there, MENS.
Yeah.
I have to admit, it took me several minutes to work it out. But
yeah, I know, because obviously there's a bit of a kind of culture where maybe we struggle a bit, and then, either we go to a doctor and they maybe prescribe something for you, or it's adults will have some alcohol or something, or anything that redress the balance. But if we can do it in a natural way, it's sustainable, that our body's used to, that maybe we can try and move forward. And and we can. COVID's been very difficult, but it leaves us at a crossroads. And if it's obviously there's so many negatives, but can we evolve? Like we were talking about evolution before, can we evolve and see what's happening, and then maybe we can be better for it in some ways? And obviously, people have lost relatives and things like that, and people have been through illnesses, and it's been really tough for everybody. So.
Well,
Yeah.
some really good advice in there as well. Thanks for sharing that. And as I said, you were playing last night as
Sure.
part of this Bitesize Festival in Port Erin that's been organised by the Deep South Music Festival, and it is in conjunction with Reach Isle of Man, which is the mental awareness health charity. So I'm guessing it's quite important for you to be involved with this.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's something I'm really passionate about, and I've been involved a lot with music and obviously sport as well. I've done a lot of coaching around the island and played a lot of sport myself, so I see that as a massive part. But it's also taking other things into account, and just can we develop our own well-being? It's really important. So
Well said, that man, indeed. Well, let's hear some of your music now. Let's get some on.
Yeah.
I'm loving this. It's the first time I've played electronica, I think, on the Live
that's
Lounge.
good.
Yeah, it's about time we had some
possibly.
on. It really is, I know. Why has it taken me so long? Tell us a little bit about what we're going to hear now.
Yeah, this track is a track called Back in Time that I produced with a guy called Alex Yardley, who's actually up in Ramsey, and I think we produced this when Alex was 16, so he's a really talented guy, and we actually started producing tracks with him when he was a bit younger than that, 14. I mean, the connection was that his dad I used to play cricket with, Reese, I played cricket with him for the Ireland team, and then he told me his son was into making music, and I got him down. I just talked him through what I'd done, and then we started making music together. And so this track, Back in Time, I've done like a spoken vocal on it, and it just it talks about going back in time, and that kind of, I mean, maybe nostalgia a little bit we touch on to do with, for me, it's like the 80s, the excitement of things that happened there, and everything seems to be a lot fresher then. There wasn't any mobile technology, so you were just in the moment a lot. So this is the track, and it's a progressive track, but it's quite, I think a lot of people could get into it, and I played it at the end last night as well, so it's it's a nice track.